All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get to it here. Again, this is the first section of the Chapter 1 notes. Our learning target is I can evaluate absolute value expressions, and I can effectively use the order of operations. So this is all about simplifying expressions. So kind of like what we're working on the DMR, just some different looks. Okay. All right, so what is absolute value? I'm glad you asked, class. It is the distance from 0 on a number line. All right, so distance from 0. And I apologize about my handwriting. Hopefully I'll get the touch screen fixed soon. What's a fact that you remember about absolute value? Does anybody remember what they were taught about absolute value? That's all right if you don't. It is, what is distance ever negative? Can distance be negative? No. All right. So that's the kind of the thing to remember is distance is always positive. Always positive. And the symbol for absolute value is those bars, right? So if you see anything in the middle of the bars, that's absolute value. Okay. Now, I had you get calculators. All right. Generally speaking, I think that there probably is an absolute value function on there, but we don't use calculators to figure absolute value. We do that by hand. Okay. All right. So absolute value of 21 is, how far is 21 from 0? How many units? 20. No, not 22. Just 21. Just 21. Okay. 21. What about negative 13? How far is negative 13 from 0? 13. Very good. Now, C says we have multiple absolute value expressions. So we want to kind of do, evaluate both of their absolute values, and then we'll do the operation. Okay, so absolute value of negative 5 is 5. Absolute value of negative 11 is 11. Now we can go ahead and add that expression because 5 and 11 are like terms, right? So what's my final answer? 16. Very good. You can write that underneath, or you can write equals off to the side, however you want to show that. All right, looking at D. Absolute value of 7 is, say it if you know it. All right, absolute value of negative 10 is 10. Good. So we've evaluated both expressions. Now we can do the operation. All right, so now we're shifting we've done the absolute value stuff. Now what's 7 minus 10? Negative 3. Very good. This part you can use your calculator on if you need. I heard a couple people say 3. That's okay, but this is 7 plus negative 10, so that'd be negative 3. So look, hey, some people struggle with this. We're doing absolute value. You just told me it was always positive. How could we get an answer that's negative 3? You gotta go in steps. Okay. When we did our absolute values, we got positive 7 and positive 10. Where we got the negative was with our operation, when we did the subtraction. Okay. Anybody have any questions? All right. On E, we treat like if there's a binomial or more than one term in the bars, we treat those like they're in parentheses. So we want to go ahead and do what's in the parentheses first. Negative 5 plus 11. Anybody know what that is? 6. Very good. Positive 6. All right. Now we can go ahead and evaluate the absolute value, which is what? 6. Absolute value of 6 is 6. All right. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to you and your partner try to agree on the final answer for F. I'll go over it in about 10 seconds. All right. Hey, good job discussing it. Here is how it goes. Okay. So first thing we do is negative 13 minus 4. That'd be negative 17. Next up is go ahead and evaluate the absolute value. That's positive 17. Then we go ahead and do addition at the end. So if you got 27, you got you a win. And it's only second period. Okay. Anybody got any questions, comments, concerns? Matthew, what you got? It's just those two bars. So I put an X in the absolute value symbols. You see it up there? Okay. Everybody with me? Anybody have any questions? All right. Okay. And Miss Zachow, she makes these notes because she's a rock star, but I do not know how to fill in the blanks there. So we'll skip that part and we'll just go ahead and list out our perfect squares. So let's do that. What does it mean to like square a number? What's it mean with that one that I just circled? One with a little 2 superscript. John? Number times the number. So another way that 1 squared could be written is 1 times 1. Okay, if you didn't know that, maybe go ahead, or if you forgot that, go ahead and write that out. That just means 1 times 1. What is 1 times 1? 1. Very good. So if 1 squared is 1 times 1, what's 2 squared mean? It's 4 because it's 2 times 2. That's right. Now, let me show you how to type these in on your calculator for when you get to the bigger numbers, okay? So there's an x squared key right here. So if I want to know like what 5 squared is, I'm going to type my base 5 and my exponent 2 and then enter, right? So you might want to find that key. You and your partner go ahead and fill out the perfect squares up to 12. I'll be doing the same. You can copy or check them at the end. All right, guys, I have them written up there. So just double check what you got done and maybe copy down anything else. I'm going to tell you what my most interesting takeaway was when I made these notes is, you know, I found out that 11 squared was the absolute value of 2. Isn't that interesting? It's not really the absolute value of 2, but it looks like it, right? It's 121. That was my attempt at a math joke, which usually is a swing and a miss. So, but is everybody okay with the concept of squaring a number? Does that make sense? You guys with me? All right. So the square root is like the inverse, right? So as we move down here, all right, guys, I'm talking. Come back with me. I'll tell you when you talk, okay? We'll kind of bounce back and forth. You guys are doing awesome, okay? What we read in example 3a, the way we read that is the square root of 49. So what that literally means is what number squared equals 49. So you can kind of look up at our list and find that number. Does anybody know what it is? 7, right? So if we look here, 7 squared is 49. So that means that the square root of 49 is 7. So go ahead and write 7. What about 9? What number squared is 9? 3. Very good. So square root of 9 is 3. Now, What about 484? Is that on our list? Let's skip down to D. I'm going to leave C and E for you guys. 484 is not on our list, okay? So it's past our list. So let me show you how to do square root in a calculator, okay? Some of you have already probably figured this out, and that's great. If not, though, let's look at it together, okay? So square root is above the x squared. So if you ever want something that is above a key, you hit second before you hit the number, okay? So we're going to hit second and then the x squared key. That brings up a radical. And we're looking for the square root of 484. So type in the 484, then you can hit enter, and it is 22. You could double check that if you wanted. If I did 22 squared, I should get 484, and I do, okay? So if anybody needs me to repeat that, we can, but our answer here is 22. This simplifies to 22. Just like Taylor Swift, the square root of 484 is feeling 22, right? You guys are a tough crowd. Either that or I'm a bad comic, one of the two. Probably the second one. All right, looking at E. So when we do the fractions, you just take the square root of each number, okay? So the square root of 49. Hey guys, I feel like I'm kind of losing you. What is the square root of 49? 7. All right, so that's my numerator. What's the square root of 144? 12. Those are both on our list. Okay. Now, go ahead and try to do the ones we skipped. I'll go over them in 28 seconds. All right, guys. Now, okay, the negative outside the radical, you can think of that as just, that puts a negative on your answer. That's like -1 times whatever the square root of 4 is. So your answer here would be -2. All right, and then next one, negative whatever. The square root of 81 is 9. The square root of 25 is 5, so -9/5. Okay. Just a note on your calculator on this one, like negative square root of 81 over 25. Here's what your calculator would give you if you type that in, or here's how you type that in. So negative is here. We talked about square root. And then 81 over 25. I can either do a division bar there or a fraction bar. Either way works. When I hit enter, well, my calculator's on a mode where it's going to give me the fraction. Some of your calculators are going to give you a decimal. I meant to show you how we could convert that, but my calculator's already on the mode where it gives the fraction. So if you ever need help converting to a fraction, let me know, okay? Any questions on square roots? All right, let's flip it over to the other side. Finish up with some order of operations. And again, I do not know how to fill in the first blank, so let's fill in these that I do. Who's ever heard of PEMDAS? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Probably heard of it. This is the order that we do the operations in to simplify. P stands for what? Parentheses. E stands for what? Exponents. What about M and D? Multiply or divide. Why are they on the same line? Does anybody have any thoughts about that? They're kind of like the same thing, okay? So multiplication and division, if they're together, which we'll see some in our example, My advice is work from left to right. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean when I get there, but you might want to go ahead and write this down. From left to right. Sorry about the handwriting. And then AS would be addition and subtraction. We always do that last. Any questions? All right, let's simplify some of these. Okay, so we have 7 plus 54 divided by 3 times 2. So we have multiplication and division that we need to handle first. We're going to add the 7 at the end. Okay, so here's where it gets a little dicey, right? So it says multiply. You know, if you just go with PEMDAS, it says M before D. PEMDAS. Okay, but when they're together, you're actually going to work from left to right. So in this case, what we're going to do first, and you can circle it or underline it or however you want to show it, is actually 54 divided by 3. Okay, so go ahead and type in 54 divided by 3. Anybody have a number for me? 18. Very good. That's 18, and then we have the times 2. Now, you'll notice the times 2 was in parentheses. That's not the kind of parentheses you do first, okay? The parentheses you do first is when we can simplify something in the parentheses. Now we can go ahead and multiply. What's 18 times 2? 36. So 7 plus 36. Now we can go ahead and add to get my final answer, which is what? 43. Very good. Go ahead and put 43. If you have room underneath, you can write it underneath. I ran out of room, so I just put an equal sign. Anybody have any questions? Now, check this out. Your calculator does order of operations for you, okay? All right, so if I type all of that in, 7 plus 54 divided by 3 times 2. Okay. And I just hit equals. It's going to give me the same answer, right? So that's a great way to double check your answer. The problem with doing that is sometimes you can mistype things, right? You'll see in some more examples where they're a little bit trickier to type in, okay? But your calculator does order of operations for you, okay? Anybody have any questions? All right, let's do B together. Then you guys can take a minute to try C and D, okay? All right, do we have parentheses here? Technically, yes, but do we have the kind of parentheses we can do first in PEMDAS? No, really, that just means 8 times -3. You might want to note that, okay? Really, that could be written as 8 times -3, okay? So that's not the kind of parentheses we do first. So do we have exponents? Yes, right? There's an exponent. So that's what we want to kind of do first. So 8 times -3 minus what? What's 4 squared? 16. Very good. Times 3 plus 15. Do we have any multiplication or division? Yes. Actually, we have 2 that are separated by an addition or subtraction. So I'm going to actually do this guy and this guy at the same time, in the same step, okay? So 8 times -3 is -24. Now, when you think minus 16 times 3, you can think -16 times 3, or just put your minus sign, either way. What would that be? What's 16 times 3? Anybody have it? Type it in for me if you can. 48, very good. So minus 48. And then we have the plus 15. Now we're just doing addition and subtraction. At this point, you know, you may want to just type it all in. If you want to work from left to right, you could write -72 plus 15. but that simplifies to negative 57. I'm just going to go ahead and write negative 57. If anybody has any issues, let me know. If not, go ahead and try C and D. We'll go over those answers and processes in a minute. If you have time, try to do one of them all the way through, step by step, and then retype it in. Does your calculator give you the same final answer? You probably won't have time to do that for both unless you're working ahead. And if you don't get done with both, that's okay. This is nothing I'm going to call on you for unless you want to be called on. Good time to talk it out with your elbow partner. All right, guys, go ahead and stop those conversations at this point. I'm going to go ahead and just write the answers up for now. And if we have questions after the lesson, I will work them out. So number 1 should have simplified to -1. Or sorry, C, and then D would have been -17. Go ahead and just write those answers down if you didn't get anything done, or if you got something else, we'll come back to them after the last example. Okay? All right. Last thing is a calculator deal, just to finish up. So doing fractions on a calculator, if you did E by hand, 2/3 plus 7/4, you would need common denominators. I would encourage you just to skip that unless you want to. Common denominators for 3 and 4 would be 12. Let's just type it in as it's written though, okay? So with your calculator, let's go ahead and find the fraction bar, okay? So 2/3 plus 7/4. On mine, my fraction bar looks like this. On the ones you borrowed from me, it's an ABC button, okay? It says A, big A, and then little b over little c. Okay, so I'm going to hit 2, fraction bar 3. On this calculator, I have to arrow out of my fraction. On the one you borrowed from me, you don't. So now you hit plus 7/4, 7 fraction bar 4, and then we're going to hit enter. Now, mine gives me my answer as an improper fraction, which is what my notes want. Okay, yours probably gives you an answer of 2 5/12, which is the same. What you do on that one is you're going to hit second, and then the fraction bar, and then enter. That'll change you to an improper fraction. If you need help with that, let me know. Let's go ahead and write 29/12. All right, last thing. Write 6 divided by 16 as a decimal, it says. So that should be easy enough. But watch what happens on mine. If you're looking up at my screen, when I type, well, it does give me a decimal. I thought it was going to give me a fraction. If it gives you a fraction, there's a fraction to decimal and vice versa feature. Let's go ahead and write down 0.375. This is your first set of notes.